Seriously, one blinking.
Just bear with me. I'm running the meeting through my iPhone, so it's going to be a little bit challenging. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Lehigh County Authority Board of Director meeting. Today is Monday, July 27, 2026. The meeting has been held either live or via Zoom or the phone call. The material for the meeting was mail and email to the board of director and also is listed on their website. Lisa, would you please go to the roll call for the board of directors?
So roll call of the board: Amir Famili.
Here.
Jeff Morgan. Ted Lyons.
Here.
Linda Rosenfeld.
Here.
Kevin Baker.
Yeah.
John Ziller.
Here.
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 Here. DJ Singh. We have 7 board members present, so we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Did we hear from VJ? He's going to attend the meeting today or not?
We did not hear from him.
Okay, thank you. Going to the next item, reviewing the agenda for today's meeting. Any changes to the agenda or any need for executive sessions?
There's no real changes to the agenda except that the industrial pretreatment plant item, we have no substantive update for that one. There is an executive session plan for immediately following this meeting to discuss some matters with our solicitor.
Okay, thank you. Going to the approval of the minutes from July 13. Linda, would you please read that?
I move that the minutes be approved.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Ted.
Okay, thank you. Please mention your name since I'm not in the room. I cannot recognize who seconded. The motion made by Linda and second by Ted. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to the next item is the committee report from July 13th.
So the committee report or the minutes from the governance committee meeting from July 13th are attached for review. They have not been approved by the committee yet. That will happen at the next meeting. Peter, I don't know if you wanted to say anything else.
No, that's about it. And just look forward to some other tours in the fall and maybe some other events as a board.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment on the item which is not on the agenda?
No, thank you, Amir.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, going to the action items that we have or on agenda. First, under finance and administration is 2025 audit of financial statement. This is on green package, digital page 9 to 89. Okay, the floor is yours, guys.
So today we're going to go through the financial statements for 2025. The audit was completed sometime in April. We got statements out the door at the end of April and proceeded to roll that into the ACFR that went out at the end of June. We have with us the audit manager on behalf of our audit firm, Zellenkowski Axelrod, Nate Schwartz here to enlighten us, as he usually does annually, on the audit, the statements themselves, and some of the discussion surrounding that. Nate, all yours.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to start off, as I usually do, by thanking Ed, Todd, and the rest of the team We were able to, as Ed earlier mentioned, issue the financial statements by the April 30th deadline. And we did that in a year in which you guys converted to a new chart of accounts, which is pretty impressive. And it shows that your team cooperated with us, got us the information timely, and were able to answer any requests that we had. So I'm going to go through. There's required communications that we go through with the board every year. Start out by saying that we were able to issue a clean, unmodified opinion on your statements, which is the highest level of assurance that we can provide to you guys. And then we complied with all ethical requirements during the course of the audit, including any independence requirements. So we were independent throughout the audit. We noted no significant or unusual transactions that required communication to the board. There were no uncorrected misstatements that required communications to the board. And we encountered no difficulties, no disagreements with management during the course of performing the audit. They booked any entries that we had, and everything went smoothly from that angle. We had no outside consultations with other accountants during the course of the audit, nor did management have any consultations. There were no other significant audit matters that we required to communicate to the board. So everything went smoothly this year. And again, pretty impressive considering you guys did change your chart of accounts, which kind of remapped the entire layout of the financial statements with Ed and Todd, though. They were quickly able to get that information to us so we could convert that into our system to produce the statements. I guess I'll open it up if you guys had any questions on the statements or any questions from me.
I have a question, Ted Lyons.
Yep.
How many audits do you do of organizations like ourselves?
Are you strictly sewer water authorities or
Well,
governments in general?
yeah,
So governments in general, that's pretty much all our firm does. I want to say we do 30 some, or we're involved in some way, shape, or form in 30 some of the county audits or consulting, a bunch of sewer and water authorities. It's literally all we do. I don't know, hundreds a year of government entities.
and would you say
Anything.
out of those hundreds that we do as good a job as anybody else?
Yeah, no, yes, I could comfortably say that. Yeah, with the staffing you guys have. Yeah, no, they do a great job. And like I said, you guys hit a pretty quick deadline on the April 30th. You know what I mean? Particularly in a year where you change the entire chart of accounts. So that speaks volumes. Todd usually maps everything out for us in advance, which is a huge help. So yeah, we were able to complete that. Yeah, you guys do a great job on that.
Are you
And again,
related to Ed?
good job, Ed. But no, another thing that you guys do, and I try not to mention as much anymore. You guys all heard the spiel, but the OPEB trust that you had set up, that's extremely progressive. You know what I mean? That was tackling an issue that a lot of governments have, kind of punted on for now, but that's fully funded for your suburban employees. In fact, it's overfunded. So yeah, you guys are doing some good things out there from that angle.
Thank you very much.
Okay. A question from my end. How detailed do you go on the audit?
It depends. So we risk assess the audit based on the information we know. Then we go into it. We'll go all the way down to transactional detail for cycle testing. We'll hit, what we consider to be material balances. We'll test those, the AR, the AP. Again, it depends on what area, you know what I mean, and how we would risk assess that. Probably a little more detailed this year than normal, again, because the chart of accounts changed, so it took a little more time than it normally would. But yeah, again, it's all risk assessment based, the audit procedures. But we go all the way down to source documentation, confirming balances with third parties, your banking institutions, some of the bigger ARs that you have out there.
Okay.
So I don't know if
Thank
that
you.
answered it or not, but
Yeah, I mean, in my previous life, the audit normally would go when there are some discrepancy in the accounting and the auditor would go and try to look at, why there's discrepancy, or the charges are correct, or
Yeah.
cost is supposed to be in T&E now has been charged to the book to the business. So those kind of stuff. I just was trying to see the level of detail that you guys go through.
Yeah. So we'll go anywhere from, high analyticals to, like I said, transactional based testing throughout the system. So we're seeing pretty good picture of everything going on. And again, this year was a little more intense because obviously, you guys changed your chart of accounts. So every single account that you had group now got same grouping, but different account structure. So we redid the entire thing this year.
Is that because of the immune system that you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys,
Okay.
you went to the new GL structure with that.
Yeah, okay. Any question from the board member? Okay, hearing none. You have to make a motion to approve the audit?
Amir, we typically ask for acceptance rather than approval.
I'm sorry, we're asking for what?
Acceptance rather than
Okay.
approval.
Okay. So acceptance, is that something that everybody has to say yes, or how does that go?
Yes, we need a motion from someone to accept the 2025 audit and financial statements.
I'm asking for a motion to get the acceptance of the audit for the.
I make a
Lehigh
motion,
County
we accept
Authority.
the audit as presented.
I'll second it.
So we had a motion from Ted and a second by Peter.
Okay, motion made by Ted and second by Peter. All who are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you, Nate.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
appreciate
Take care, everyone. Yep.
You too.
See you next year.
Yeah. See you next year.
Okay, moving on to the next items on
I'd
finance.
like to
and
make a
administration.
comment. I want to congratulate Ed and the team for apparently a very outstanding job. Makes our job easier as a board. We appreciate it very much.
I have to give credit to the entire group, to be honest with you, the entire team of accounting. This audit was well planned out because of the fact that we actually went midstream this year to change this chart of accounts. So it took a real strong group effort to plan this with all the nuances as a result of that. And I was pretty happy that actually we didn't even wait till the last day to get done. We were done the second week of April. So
Great job.
thank you.
Thank you, Ted, for bringing that one up. I think we got used to every year getting the kudo for the team of doing a great job. Ed, a quick question. Does the immune system has helped to streamline the audit process?
In a year where you're not doing balances twice, yes.
Okay,
Yes, I mean, there was a lot of work basically, we closed a half a year and then closed another half a year and put it all together. We won't have to do that next as we get into 2026. So we should be able to have much better efficiency in terms of what we get from the way we structured the ledger to begin with.
okay. Yeah, it absolutely having the system one way half year and the other, it may absolutely make it very complicated. So thank you again for a great job.
Thank you.
The next item is a single point of failure study, water main and sewer trunkliness is for gray pages, digital pages. I'm sorry, yellow pages. No, it's gray. It's a gray pages, 90 to 108.
All right, thank you. This one we'll have AJ Kapusi present.
Okay, thanks, Liesl. So today, we're asking for approval for a study by AECOM to assess we're calling our single point of failure linear assets as part of our asset management program. We are working towards prioritizing those assets that have the highest consequence of failure and also the highest likelihood of failure, so that we can address them, correct them, rehab, replace them before they become failures. So as part of that, we've developed this scope of work, which includes evaluating testing methods and prioritization methods for those assets. We've identified what they are, and we've asked for some support in identifying how to evaluate them, which techniques. Some are very simple, like soil testing, and some are very complicated, like putting in smart balls, and the costs vary greatly. So we want to invest in the diagnostic methods in accordance with the priority of the work. So that's what this is all about, is helping us have a systematic way of evaluating the linear pipelines and making good decisions about which ones we test with what technologies, and then which ones we ultimately rehab and or replace. So we requested proposals from 4 firms. We received proposals from AECOM, Black and Beach, CHA, and SGH. We evaluated those using our scoring methodology, and we are recommending AECOM in the amount of $233,505. The scope, as identified in the board documents, is some initial data collection, verifying the identification of those single points of failure, a risk-based prioritization, like I mentioned, high consequence, high likelihood, which testing methods are we going to use in the final report. This includes the city assets, urban, collection, water, wastewater, and also includes single points of failure at our major treatment facilities in the city. So we've been kind of monitoring what's happening from our sister utilities around the U.S., and we're seeing that there are a number of cases where single points of failure occur, and it creates a major problem. If we lose something that doesn't have a redundant line, it really super high costs and bypass pumping, environmental impacts. So we're trying to avoid that. So that's what we're asking for today, is approval to initiate a contract with AECOM for the study. And I'm happy to answer any questions about this.
When will it be completed?
It's about a 9-month study.
Have we done this before?
Not in this way, no. We're doing some things ourselves, but we want to get like systematic all assets at the same time. We've done diagnostic testing on our east side transmission, which I'm going to get to in my next request, but this is the first like comprehensive look at it.
What kind of stuff might show up?
Well, what we're concerned about is areas where there's section loss or actual leakage. And we know there's leakage, but where it's widespread and where there could be sort of risk of major failure, could be at a joint, could be at just a weak point. We've seen, I'll present to you in a moment, on the east side, we've seen external corrosion. So outside in, you're seeing some significant section loss and some leakage. So we're trying to make sure we know where those are and start working on correcting them before they catastrophically fail.
Do we have a broader systematic look at risk? This being a part of it, system risk, cyber risk, all kinds of risks overall?
That's a good question. I mean, we're looking at our physical assets that way. I don't know that we are systematically looking at risk across every department that I'm familiar with, although somebody in the room could correct me. We're looking at asset management from the standpoint of the physical assets, the pipelines. We certainly are looking at cyber risk and things like that as well, but yeah, I'm not sure about, can't really speak for other departments.
From the sampling of the system, though, the asset management program continues to mature from maybe 4 years ago when we first kind of started out. on putting that program together, putting the strategic asset management plan together, and now working kind of system by system to do asset management plans to assess risk and consequence of failure. This is kind of another layer of that, or a, next step in the maturity of the program.
This would not include like electrical risk or power failures or pump failures, things like that.
No, this is strictly linear pipe.
Linear pipe.
We do have a separate whole, we're kind of ahead of things on the vertical assets. So we're looking at every facility by facility to do the same thing. And that's pushing out new projects. We're ahead on that. We've done a number of what we call vertical facilities, our treatment plants, but the linear is now getting a chance to get a spotlight on it.
Thank you.
Any other question from?
That's because some organizations, have like, real, rather robust risk management or even like board level, risk, risk committees. I don't know, BJ with PPL and, what you guys did with risk, but,
Well, that was different. That was all market risk based on our price volatility.
yeah.
Not organization-wide risk. That's more of a auditing kind of issue of that line.
We use it in asset management for prioritization. High assets with a high consequence of failure, this fails, we could impact the community, and then an asset that has a high likelihood of failure because its condition has poor. We try to match those together, and the ones that have the high consequence, high likelihood, get high risk scores and get more attention because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
AJ, I thank you for leading this effort. This is a very important task for us because if we have a catastrophic failure, that's going to be really very difficult for us to recover from it. Just a couple of questions from you. Somehow the work that, or the money that we approved, I think was for Chris, if I'm not mistaken, for the acoustic leakage on the pipe and stuff. Does that somehow tie to what you're doing?
Yeah, that's directly tied because that's an indication of where we have leaks and breaks, and so we use that in our assessment of the lines. Those tend to be on the smaller pipe diameters. We don't have as many on the larger pipe diameter. So this project is looking at some of the larger pipes, but that definitely ties in, and we use that to prioritize main replacements.
Sure. The second question, just it seems that we lean a lot on AECOM. Have they done such a project at other, utility companies that have expertise in it? Have you audited them on the work that they have done for other company authorities that we feel comfortable what they bring to the table is the highest quality?
Yeah, it's a fair question. We evaluate these very, very carefully. We try to only invite those firms that we believe have the requisite experience. AECOM has already done some work for us on similar work with diagnostic testing of two of the interceptors in the city. So we've had a good experience with that. Ed Strauss is actually on the line. He's from AECOM. He's one of the project managers there. We've had good success. I know on this one, I don't believe we specifically audited their quals. We more or less believe that, what they said happens. In some cases, we'll contact utilities. In this case, we didn't. And we are trying to seek out support from the consulting community. You'll notice in the board notes, we invited a firm, Carollo. They declined to submit. So sometimes, even with our best efforts, we can't necessarily get people to propose. But we're confident that they are qualified to do the work. We know the people. We know the quality work they've done on other projects for LCA, and they're very responsive. And they're bringing the A team. We're getting good qualified people to do the work. We really focus on the experience of the people doing the work. And we specifically ask for them to identify the projects that those people who are proposed for us, did they do that work? Like, it's fine that your company did it, but I want to know if the team, like Ed Strauss, did he do, what did he do? So I'm confident that we have a good firm here, and I'm confident that they'll do a good job for us.
Thank you for the explanation, AJ. Just clarifying, the amount of money you're asking for $263,505, is that correct?
It's 233,505, no?
No,
Oh.
the capital.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's just AECom.
Yeah.
The total authorization is, you're right, 263,505.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. We have a capital authorization in front of us for the single point of failure study for the amount of $263,505.
I'll make that motion to approve, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Second by Manal.
Okay, so the motion made by Sean and second by Manal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, hearing none. You got the order, AJ. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Amir?
Yes.
For the folks who are online, wanted to let everyone know that Vijay Singh entered the meeting at 12:15.
Yes.
Moving the next item underwater is 30 and 36 inch east side transmission main repair project change order. It is yellow pages, digital package pages 109 to 112.
You keep going, Vijay.
Okay, yeah, keep going. So, yeah, this is a project that Jason Peters led. He's on vacation this week, so I volunteered to help out here. This is basically very related to the last request. This is an actual main 30 and 36 inch east side transmission main that you authorized a contract with Wexcon. During the course of the work, we identified some unanticipated issues that led to change orders. Specifically, we needed to add a new line stop. We were depending on a valve to hold, and it didn't hold, so we had to purchase and install a line stop. We also found that there were more areas than we thought. So this was one that we did an investigation several years ago using a technology called SmartBall, where it detects like leaks and pipe loss, and it found a number of areas. And this project was to replace whole sections of pipe and put in new sections. But in the course of doing the uncovering of those leaks, we found that the leaks were more widespread in some areas. So rather than wait for another project and have to come back, it was really the right call to replace. So we added an additional 53 feet of 36 pipe. And then there were some, some extra excavation there. So the total amount for this one is $80,300. The original contract amount was $592,000. So the total for this change order is $80,300. So asking for approval for a change order for Wexcon, the amount of $80,300.
Any question from the board member? Okay, hearing none. So seeking a capital expenditure approval for the 30 and 36 inch east side transmission main repair project. This is a change order asking for the amount of $80,300.
I'll second, Sean.
Okay, motion made by Peter, if I'm not mistaken, and second by Sean. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passed. Thank you. Thank you, Ajay. Moving on the wastewater, but there is nothing on the if I'm not mistaken, at least upfront, you said there is no update on the PTP. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay. Next item is the Allentown Division Sanitary Sewer Collection System I&I Source Reduction Program. It's blue pages, digital board packages 113 to 122.
Charlie Myers, your debut to the board, the new senior project engineer or planning engineer. Take it away.
Thank you, Lisa. Presenting today the design and bidding services for year 3 of the continuing source reduction program in the city of Allentown. This is authorization for $144,000 for Arcadis. This work will complete the part of the work in Trout Creek Sewer Shed, but particularly the industrial area, which is the area to the west of I-78 along Lehigh Street. Generally, what that will allow us to do is, for the first time, after this work is completed, be able to do assessments of what all of the SRP work in a basin has done. So this would be followed up with metering and assessment after this is done. This is the last work to complete that, the sewer rehab in that basin. The
Any question? Go ahead, please.
Arcadis was selected because they completed the SSES, the assessment work in the basin, and this built directly on all that work. Sorry about that.
I have a
Any
question.
question from the board member?
Case was selected and they, walk us through that process. Do they give you a budget and then you select them, or do you select them and they give you a budget, or et cetera, et cetera?
So we had approached them about the next phases of work and got pricing from them, worked the scope out on that to make sure we got good pricing for them.
Now, when they do the work, is this a lump sum, or do they do, is it T&M, or how's it? It's T&M. So they submit regular documentation on their invoices and
Yes.
we approve them. Thank you.
Any other question from the board member? How much so far we have spent on this? I don't have the pages in front of me. Can you just go through that page, please?
So this would be a new authorization. We're allowed up to 5 million a year. This would be year 3. We've actually underspent the first 2, so we're playing a little bit of catch up at this point in time, particularly in year 2, and we expect to do a little more catch up in year 3, partially because we have an upcoming report to the DEP next year, and we want to be able to say that we're meeting our commitments to undertake I&I remediation in the city of Allen.
Okay. And the amount of money you're asking is 144,000, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. If there's no more questions, so we are seeking the capital expenditure authorization for the Allentown Division Sanitary Sewer Collection System for I&I source reductions for the amount of 144,000.
So moved. Linda.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
Second, Ted.
Thank you. It's a motion made by Linda, second by Ted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passed. You got the order. Thank you. Appreciate that. I believe the next action item is the monthly financial report.
Yes.
Okay. Ed is yours.
We're ready to fly, so.
Stand by.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay, we'll take a look at how we did in June of this year. We'll start with the month. On the income side, water, suburban water had positive, wastewater went negative in terms of income. City division, positive, overall positive. Compared to forecast, suburban water was favorable. City was favorable, suburban wastewater was down a little bit to forecast. Overall, LCA finished favorable against the forecast for the month on income. In terms of cash flow activity for the month, suburban wastewater and city division hit positive side. Suburban water did not. That went negative. However, on the forecast variance side, we're down a little bit for the month on suburban water, down as well a little bit on wastewater, and down a little bit on the city division. So for the month of June, we ended up a little bit unfavorable to what we expected for the month. Okay, year to date, suburban water and wastewater slightly negative. City division's doing well on the positive side. Against forecast, we're down a little bit on water, down a little bit on wastewater, but not too bad on the city side. And overall, we're positive and favorable by $3 million in total. On cash flows year to date, all three funds are positive. All three funds are favorable to forecast year to date. Overall, positive number for LCA and almost $5 million of favorable variance. What we think we're going to look like for the entire year is we on suburban water, obviously will be positive. With wastewater, we said we think we'll be negative, and the city should be in the neighborhood of $15 million of income. Comparing that to budget now, we're favorable against budget on water, favorable against budget on suburban wastewater. City's down a little bit, and most of that is in what we are going to spend on major maintenance. That's turning out to be a little bit higher than what we had originally budgeted and originally predicted as well. So cash flows full year, we're going to be negative in suburban water. We budgeted that way, so we're going to finish better than budget. Suburban wastewater, we're down on the negative side as well. We said we were going to be negative, so we're doing a little bit better than budget on wastewater. And in the city division, we had capital money to roll forward into the year with, so we said we were going to be 16 million unfavorable or on the negative side on budget, and we're actually going to finish about 2.9 million better than that. So cash flows look like they're going to come out about $4.5 million on the favorable side against budget.
What explains this huge difference, right? It's 15 million, even the budgeted amount, we got 15 million, right?
So we had
22 million negative cash flow. It's
So-
like 37 million.
Yeah, we had basically almost $60 million worth of capital money that we borrowed for a couple of years ago. So that allowed us to say we were going to have a negative cash flow this year.
So this includes, so just on operating cash, this includes financing.
Yes, this was borrowed money that's being spread over 3 years.
It doesn't tell you much, right, if you mix everything up.
Understand, yeah. Yeah, we'll take a look at the cash flows when we get to the city. I think you're looking at the city side. So on the suburban water side, income year to date is $252,000 unfavorable. You can see in terms of the net income variances, we were favorable on the operating revenues. We get into operating expenses, we were unfavorable mostly on the personnel side. Made up some of that in interest income and some of that in interest expense. As you look at the cash flows year to date, cash from ops is down, obviously reflecting the operating expense issue. We are lower in debt service and financing. CapEx is slightly lower. So that's pushed the variance up, and investing is basically interest income. So we finished about $1.6 million favorable on the cash flow side, just in suburban water. Full year, excuse me. We think we're going to be $1.1 million favorable against budget on the income side. That's going to be a combination of, well, we're going to be a little bit unfavorable in operating revenues, but total operating expenses are going to be making up most of that at $2.5 million. We should get $164,000 worth of additional interest income, and interest expense will be about 89 to erode some of that. Full year, basically cash flows are projected to be 900, almost $1 million higher than the budget. You can see that is mostly coming from operations, with some unfavorable effect on the CapEx side, with some offset from interest income. In terms of metrics for suburban water, coverage ratio right now is down below the budget target that we had at 1.69 compared to the 2.36. Still better than our internal covenant requirement of 1.20. And we think that will come up to about 2.65 and measure good against all the targets. Operating ratio, we're a little bit less than 1. We like the internal target of 1, and so we're falling a little bit short year to date. The budget was 1.16. Again, looking at forecast for the year, that should pull up to about 1.22 and be better against all the benchmarks. Days cash on hand, we're at 223, which is obviously better than the target of 180, and it'll come down some a little bit, but still be good at 203. So suburban wastewater income year to date, we're a little bit unfavorable, $342,000. You got some effect of favorable operating revenues, again, unfavorable on the operating expense side, mostly in personnel. On the non-operating side, interest expenses 71 unfavorable, and our interest income is down a little bit from what we thought we were going to have in this fund. So you basically get unfavorable after operating revenues helped you a little bit. Cash flows, cash from operations will be favorable, and you'll get some help from lower debt service, and then you'll get some help from other investing activities. Full year, we'll think $1.9 million favorable to budget. That's despite the little bit lower operating revenues. We're making up some of that in favorable operating expenses in total. Non-operating interest income should help us as well, and it pulled down a little bit by higher interest expense. In terms of cash flows, it will be $613,000 better. Most of that is coming from operations due to the favorable operating expenses. CapEx will be a little bit off by $600 and some thousand, but we'll make up some in investing activity. Metrics, suburban wastewater. We're at 3 in terms of coverage ratio. That's better than the 1.2. It's also better than our budget target. That will come down some to 2.44, and that 2.44 will be better than all benchmarks again. Operating ratio, we budgeted 0.9. We're doing better than that 0.9. We're at 0.95. We like it to be 1, but just the way we budgeted, it wasn't going to hit 1. And we're expecting it to be in the neighborhood of 0.97 by the end of the year. Days cash on hand, we're 290. That's better than our target. And it will come down some by the end of the year to be 168.4.
What's the operating ratio, the ratio of?
Operating ratio would be total operating revenue divided by total operating expenses, including depreciation.
And it's less than 1.
Yes, we budgeted less than 1 in that fund for this year. It's hovering, but it's not going to get to 1. So close, but not good enough.
Well, you got depreciation too, so.
Yeah. City division, we're $3.7 million in terms of net income variance year to date. Favorable operating revenues, favorable operating expenses, favorable interest income, and interest expenses pulling some of that down, but overall, a fairly good variance. In terms of cash flows, we're at 2.6 million. Most of that's coming from the operating items, $4.2 million. Debt service is going to be a little bit higher than we had forecasted. Actually, a lot higher, $3.3 million. CapEx is going to be lower by 981, and we're still going to get favorable on the investing side of the business. Full year, we think will be better by $6.some million in terms of operating revenues, 3.6 million up. Operating expenses will be down. The non-operating or interest income is going to help us some, and interest expense will be favorable as well. In terms of cash flows full year, most of it is coming from operations, $2.3 million, and then the investing activity, that's favorable as well. So metrics, coverage ratio 2.93. That's good. 2.19 was budget target, and the covenant target is 1.2. We think we'll finish the year at 2.38, and that'll put us in a good position against all comparison points. Year-to-date operating ratio at 2.43 is favorable to budget, favorable to target. Will come down some for the year, 1.97, but that'll be good with respect to the benchmarks. And right now we're at 794 days of cash on hand. So we'll have something to do with investing some more with the trustee as we move on for the years. In terms of the fund recaps, in terms of the scorecard, the total green on suburban water were 8, suburban wastewater is 10, and the city was kind of been between 13 and 14 so far this year, and that's at 13. So just summarizing it, halfway through the year, we're in fairly good position to year-to-date forecast. On the net income side, suburban wastewater and suburban water and wastewater are only slightly unfavorable. City is favorable. Cash flows, all 3 funds favorable. What's next? We'll be rolling into another forecast, which we'll call the Q3 forecast. We'll try to wrap all of that into our lookabout as we get into the 227 budget. Question?
Yeah, this is Sean. I may have missed it, but can you speak a little bit more toward your point about the debt service and kind of it was larger than you had anticipated, and just speak to that a little bit more?
I'm not sure I'm getting the question.
You had said that in your forecast, the debt service ratio was it higher than you had anticipated, or?
I think are you referring to the operating ratio that we did on the wastewater side? Or
No, I thought you had spoken to, there was a debt service maybe ratio that it was on one of the latter slides that maybe I'm misunderstanding, but.
I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding. You talking about the city division?
Uh,
This one right here.
yeah.
Okay, city division, the debt service is unfavorable right now, compared to the budget and forecast, because we had not forecasted some anticipated accretion on bonds.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we didn't get a forecast right on this one, so.
Gotcha.
Can you explain unforeseen accretion on bonds?
So we have set bonds that just have a change value, and in this particular case, the accretion is driving the debt service up, the value of the bonds up, and we did not predict that interest expense. So it's turning out to be unfavorable, more unfavorable than we originally projected it to be.
And this is because of rising interest rates?
This is because of rising interest rates and the bonds themselves, so the value of the bonds themselves.
Thank you.
Why is the interest rate dependent on the bond value?
That was the series that they took in 2013.
So as the price of the bond fluctuates, or interest payment?
Yeah,
fluctuates?
the interest changes, yes.
Never seen that.
These are 2013.
If you issue bond with par value 100 and interest rates drop by half and your bond price goes to close say 180. So what happens to interest rate? It goes up too.
Yes,
But interest is actually falling because that's why your bond price is rising and you gotta pay more. Okay.
yes, we would love to retire this series when we get the chance to do so.
So these bonds have a fluctuating interest rate?
Well, it seems to be proportional to the market price of the bond.
Proportional to the market, yeah. This was the original borrowing, so we still have the 2013 B.
This was done when Allentown came in.
Yeah,
This was part of
this was part of the way we financed the Allentown concession agreement. And we've never taken this series out when we refinanced because we couldn't.
Now, in the days of low interest rates, this was good?
Then it wouldn't accrete as much, yes.
Yeah, if interest rates rise,
Yeah.
then this is actually a bet on interest rates, right? So the interest rates rise, bond value will fall and your interest rate will fall. The
Correct.
interest you pay, but the other side is exactly the opposite.
Yes. So someday we'd like to get out of that.
Yeah, this one's a new one now.
Yeah.
No,
Someday we'd like to get out of
How
the,
long do you have to go on this?
this was a part of the original borrowing in 2013.
How many years is it?
11, I guess.
Well, interest rates have been rising lately. What's the duration of this bond?
These were,
When do they mature?
I'm trying to remember, these were 20-year bonds, I believe.
We had some that were 35 and some that
I
were 20.
gotta be honest with you, I can't give you a good answer to that. I don't know exactly because we had done so much refinancing with the Series A and Series C and then doing that. I honestly don't remember whether they're 20-year or 30.
But technically, you're basically short on interest rates, right? Interest rates go up. yours go down. And it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's,
Yes.
agreed, yeah. Okay? Anything else?
Just a comment from me. I think the point that VJ made regarding that large amount of the negative cash flow, look through that, because if there is a large amount and you are lumping, many things together, it doesn't give the pictures of what are the component has caused that, right? So think about a way that if there are a large variance, positive or negative, and there are many component on that, I do recognize that you try to summarize everything to be precise, but at the same time, we don't want to miss if there is an abnormality on either positive or negative. So think about it, how we can demonstrate that for your next presentation.
So it's fairly simple way to do it is simply have like two lines. One is cash flow from operating activities. And the second one would be cash flow from financing activities, so that you could see them different. So,
Okay, we can certainly do that.
Okay. Thank you for recommendation, Vijay. I appreciate it.
We can do that because we actually have that separation in the statements that are part of the pack. So I'll just incorporate that. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. Okay. Any question for Ed? No? Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. Moving to the next item is the monthly safety report, which is on digital board package pages 137 to 139.
I'll put this on screen for you, Ed. It's the same as what's in the packet, but.
Okay. So, through June, total incidents of 34. Breakdown on that is 19 employee-related incidents, 15 vehicle incidents. Since the last recordable on the 15th of June, we're at 32 days. If you look at the table just a little bit right of the pie, the root cause by severity classification, we have not had any deaths, dismemberments, or anything else that would be immediately reportable. We're at 0. We have 9 recordable injuries. We have 8 first aid cases. 1 is still pending, and there's 1 unaccounted for that was basically what you would call a near miss. In terms of body part incidents, you can see we predominantly hitting arm with some back and other injuries. In terms of corrective actions, we've got 15 that are still open that we're working on. 9 of the employee incidents have been applied corrective actions. In terms of by month, you could see that we started off the year paying the price for really not being ready for Mother Winter. And we got hit with some incidents in the early part of the year, and that's kind of leveled off to 3, 2, 1. In terms of incident breakdown by type, again, slips, trip, falls related to winter 6, struck by 4, and then everything else is pretty much 2 and 1. For the month, we had 1 incident that has now become a lost time incident, which we'll still be tracking days lost on and following up on. Root cause was related to tools and equipments, and yeah. And I believe just 1 vehicle incident, actually caused by somebody else, so. Questions on safety?
Question with these incident breakdowns by type, how do those relate back to the pie chart? Are those said the falls and the trips and stuff, are those situational, awareness or?
Well, most of that is, you could call it situational awareness, not paying attention to the fact that there might be ice under you. I think we saw a predominance of slips, trips and falls in January and February where it got cold and snowy, and sometimes you don't know you hit ice until you're on it. And I think, to be honest with you, we'll take a better look at the preparation and awareness that we need to enhance when we start to get into old winter.
Have you thought about doing any training on walking on slick surfaces? I know ski resorts, they do that routinely.
I think we are.
Can help.
I think we are looking at specific training. I think we're also looking at maybe specific footwear to go.
Backtracks or.
Yeah.
And Jeff did buy, so this is primarily the guys in the field. And Jeff, our safety manager, did purchase rubber kind of snap-on cleats for generic boot sizes. So they're rubber, they're stretchy and they slap on the bottom, and they have those kind of like almost golf cleats on the bottom, which has been supplied to all of the field guys now.
Those can be very effective if people remember to wear them.
Yeah, I mean, that'll take some awareness by the supervisors and everybody out in the field, and just some accountability for the people responsible for those guys. Sorry for the interruption.
Thanks. Any other questions?
Sure. When November comes, do we have an established winter awareness safety program that every team would go through and sort of refresh that winter is coming and these are the things that you have to be aware of? Is that such a thing exist?
So I don't believe that we were as diligent as we needed to be. And I'll leave it at that. We should be better prepared for that. I think that over the last couple of years, winter wasn't as bad to us, so we didn't have that in the back of our minds until we got hit with what we got hit in this year. So I think that we'll have a more concerted, more communicative method and message to send about being prepared for what's going to come at us.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We cannot predict the weather, right? What can we predict is the education of the people, right? So I think it's very essential that we institutionalize the safety for winter. It is very important. And also, since there are majority of the, let's say 7, if I'm not mistaken, of the injuries by arm, have we created an arm awareness program, since this is the largest number of injury that we have, to communicate to each team?
So I'm pretty sure that he's looked at PP&E that might be necessary with respect to the arms. I think that there's still some corrective actions that need to go in to place with respect to arms in that body part. So I don't think we're done there. We will be spending more time on it.
Yeah, I think it is essential that when we see a trend, that's the best practices that most of us that are working corporation that are aware of. When we see a trend which is happening over and over, it is a responsibility of the safety officer to put something together to bring the awareness. And this trend of the arm has gone on for a while. So we need to take a more serious action on those training, because as Peter mentioned, is the awareness is to bring in to the people, hey guys, we have 7 of these. These are 7 things that people cause this accident to happen. So these are the things that we have to do. So repeating some of the safety procedures it is really, really essential. Otherwise, we're going to continue to being at the high numbers.
I agree.
Okay, we're looking forward to see some results from that. Okay. No more question for Ed. Let's see what next items we have is the monthly system operations. Is a digital board package, pages 140 to 141.
I think in front of you, you do have the June 2026 operations report. For Allentown, the water production was 23.57 MGD. Once again, you'll notice Sean Spring, we're down to 6.05 MGD of production, which is quite low. As you go down to the Little Lehigh Creek, we have been making that up mostly through the Little Lehigh Creek and have not been relying on the Lehigh River as much. Going down to the Central Lehigh Division, we're up to 13.21 MGD. And that has mostly been made up by well production. Klein's Island was still hovering around 30. We were at 30.94 MGD. Once again, with only 2.41 inches of rain, streams are quite low. We are still in a drought. We're in a drought warning at this point, so we are asking for about 10% reduction from the general public. No NOVs, no SSOs. There were 2 main breaks in both Allentown and Suburban, and no emergency declarations. Flipping over to the next page. If this was a score chart or sheet similar to Ed's, you would have a lot of green except for Sand Spring, where we did have 5 exceedances last month. 3 of them are somewhat related. So we did have an ammonia concentration as well as an ammonia loading, and then also total nitrogen loading. So those 3, I believe the last time I spoke on this, we had removed the quad issue from the influent. The plant was running actually really good for about a week, and someone dumped something. The ammonia was less than 1, and it shot back up to 20 or so. It's back under control as of the beginning of this month. So July looks really good from an ammonia standpoint. We still have a few things to work out from a nitrate or nitrite removal. We're working that out right now. But from an overall operation standpoint, the plant is looking as good as it has for a very long time. So fingers crossed as far as keeping that going. The other 2 exceedances were a pH violation. Still doing the root cause on that because it's not totally making sense as far as why that happened. And then the other one was a zinc issue where the MasterCat chemical that we add, the chemical tubing line got clogged up and it was not actually dosing. So those were the 5 exceedances. The other facilities were all in compliance, and there were no boil water advisories in June as well. Be happy to answer any questions.
Just one quick question. Looking at the water main breaks that were repaired, I know we have 2026, 2025, and 2024. If we were to maybe take that back another 3 years, I mean, is it fairly static, fairly kind of level in terms of what we've been seeing, even beyond those last 3 years? Do we know that info?
The top of my head, I don't, but we have that data easily accessible that we could share it at the next board meeting.
Yeah, I'm just curious, knowing we've had a few more instances, I think, in the public domain from Allentown. So just curious to see it over a longer period of time.
Yeah, I do recall January and February being quite insane from a water main break standpoint. So looking at, what are we at, 28 so far in 2026, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that number is quite high as compared to some of the prior years.
We had more in January, February this year than we did all of last year.
But yeah, I can pull up. So we've got 25, 24. I can pull up the past 5-6 years of data and then display that next month.
Yep. Thank you.
Has there been anything on the fluoride thing with the water.
What specifically?
Well, we took it out, we
Yes.
closed it down. Is it coming back?
What is our schedule on fluoride?
We are looking at September timeframe as far as having that project wrapped up. And fluoride will then be dosed again.
Okay,
So
I
that's
just wondered if you had any flack on it, the fact that it wasn't there anymore.
it's still available. The issue that we ran into was we were running low on supply. And by the time we would have gotten it in, we would basically had a full tank, and then we would have had to shut it off to start the rehab project. And then we would have had to dispose of, 5,000 gallons, and that's not really easily done. So at that point, we decided not to take new delivery. So that's why the period has been extended.
Okay.
As far as flack, we have not received any flack about dosing it. We've actually gotten flack saying, don't put it back in. So that's the communication we've received.
And then is that just for the city? What municipalities roughly are getting the fluoride?
So the only location that we do dose it is at the City of Allentown water plant. However, because of the interconnect, you're looking at not only Allentown, Salisbury, and some of the other surrounding municipalities, you're getting it in the Central Lehigh division as well. But if you were to pull levels throughout the system, it would vary quite a bit depending upon how that water is flowing. So we typically target about 0.5 milligrams per liter at the water plant. So as you go out to suburban, it's going to be much less.
Okay, any other question for Andrew? Okay, thank you, Andrew. Moving on the next item on the agenda, any staff comment?
Nothing additional today.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Any solicitor comment?
No comments. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Jen. Any public comment?
No, thank you, Amir.
Yep, no, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Chandy, thank you. Any board member comment? Hearing none. Okay, for the executive session, let's meet at, Lisa, what is it, 112 there in US? Yeah, okay. Let's meet at 1 or 1:20 in 8 minutes. So the meeting adjourned. There is another Zoom for those online. I think Lisa has sent another email with the Zoom link for the executive sessions. Guys, have a great day. Bye now.